Hi all. I stamped a picture with archival ink. And the reason I used archival was because it's a waterproof permanent pigment ink, which means that you can then use watercolour markers and watercolour pencils and watercolours to colour your item, and it will not run or bleed the archival ink. So if you ever have your ink bleeding, it's because you're using either the wrong ink or the wrong markers. So what I've done here is I've already coloured this little one, and as you can see, the shading is a soft blend on this one and a much more harsh blend on that one, and neither's wrong, it just depends on what you prefer, but I put both on this picture just to give you an idea. Plus I've used exactly the same colours with both pictures, but what I did was I put more ink on that one and built the colour up so that it looks slightly darker. There are two reasons I did that. One, to show you that it can be done. Two, this is the foreground one, so I would expect it to be lighter than the background one. So that's just a subtle way of encouraging the optical illusion. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to colour the leaves. And the idea with colouring is that you need to know where the light's hitting. I'm going to swap that for a better image. Now I'm going to use two shades on the leaves, and if the sun was sitting where you are now looking down on that picture, anything that came out from underneath the flower would be dark, because the sun would cast a shadow there underneath. And these tips out here would be lighter, even though the leaf is all the same colour. The tips out here would be lighter, and as further it goes in under that flower, it would become darker. Now this is true no matter what you're colouring in with, whether you're colouring in with paint, pencils, markers, whatever you're using, this is true. So you can use this information for whatever you paint or colour with. Now also we've got veins. Now some veins are raised on a leaf and some veins are sunken in. We're going to assume that these veins sink down. So therefore, if they're further away from the light, they would be darker than the surrounding leaf because it would be closer to the light. So what I'm going to do is just show you where I would put the dark. I would put the dark down near the edge where the leaf goes under, and I would bring it up along those veins where the leaf dips down, and then I would come back and I'd only do one leaf at a time with the light green and put it in all the other places. Now I want a soft blend, so if that's still wet enough, see, it will blend, and then you get an intermediate colour. You get dark, light, and in between. It's just a soft blend. Okay, I'll do that one more time and show you. Come round where the edges are, and then up where the veins are, and then I come back straight away with this, and there we are. Nice finish to that leaf and a nice soft subtle blend. Now if I was doing the petals, I would first of all look at the center, and I want to get these little tips very light. So I'm going to put that light color in so that I know where not to colour in with anything else. Just get those done first. And then I've got 3 shades here. I've got a dark, a medium, and a light colour. So I'm actually going to shade this flower in 3 colours. Now, really, I'm only using this dark for the centre, right down where there'd be not a lot of light coming in. So it will be down in and around where these little stamens are. Now this is a brush tip pen, so you can get a nice fine little point with this. It's a watercolour brush pen. Now this is a little bit different from the next 2 colours, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over the top of that with the medium colour, and that helps it look more like that colour. By blending the 2 together, gives you the impression that it's just a darker version of this colour. Okay, and then I'm going to look at the petals and I'm going to go, all right, coming up from the middle, it will be dark, and see that leaf there's overlapping bits, so it'll probably be a little bit dark there. And I'm going to do 1 petal at a time. And try and get that to do a soft blend. Now if it's not blending for you, come back and just add a little bit of that colour on the edge and go again. Okay, now these 2 petals are overlapping that one, so it would be in shadow along both edges there and coming up here a bit. So then okay, now this one, this overlaps everything, so the only part of it that would have dark on it would be just the bottom where it comes out from the bottom, but the whole rest of that leaf, that petal, sits out over the top, so it would have all the sun on it. Okay, and this bit that comes over would even be lighter, so I'll only go over it maybe once, whereas I might come over this a bit darker, so I'll make it a bit darker than that, but it wouldn't be as dark as that. Alright, so you now, is it now looking like it's going down deep into the flower? Alright, now this is coming up, this is very dark in there, I would imagine, because it's got that and that, everything's overlapping it, so I'm just going to leave it in the dark. And this petal is coming over the top of that one, and that bit there is coming over the top as well. So this has just got a little bit of lightness on that edge there. We come back around here, these 2 petals are sitting out over the top of this one, so we're making them dark, but the top edge would have the light hitting it, so that's where we go with that. Alright, this is a turnover, so that would be quite light. This would have darkness coming up because it's sitting underneath these petals, so there, all of that would be in darkness. So you just work your way around the flower. If you're not sure whether a petal is on top or underneath, leave it and go on to the next one. Do all the ones you're sure of first. I worked my way around doing all the ones I was sure of first, and then I came back and it was clearer to me what was happening with the other ones. Okay, so like you can now see here, get something pointy to point with. You can now see here, see that's right over the top of all those other ones. And I've put the darkness down the bottom there because it's coming out from underneath that flower. So the light would be hitting it up here, but it wouldn't be hitting it down there. This one is going down in behind that one. That one is going in behind that one. This one is, you know, in behind those. That it's getting darker as it goes into the center there and lighter as it comes out. All right, so that one's pretty well blended. This one, this is what happens if you don't do it one petal at a time. If you go around and do all the dark, I won't do it, I'll just show you. If you go down and do all the dark first, then come back and do all the light, what happens is it doesn't blend. See how that blends nicely? Whereas that you can see all the lines. Now, you might like that. That might be your colouring of choice. Well, that's fine. Go ahead and do it that way. Okay, but if you want a soft blend, then you do one section of each petal at a time. With this leaf, I would have done that. Then I would have come down and done this and added all that. Or I would have done that bit first, and then I would have come back with the light and done that, and then done that last. So each little section I did one at a time in order to get that sort of soft blended look. Whereas this one, I went and did all the dark first and then came back and did all the light colour. And as you can see, it's not blending at all. So you've got to be pretty quick off the mark to get your soft blend. But either way, they both look like flowers and they're both shaded. And as you can see there, that's well on the go to looking like that's deep down there and that's high up there. Okay, so that's, and the pens I'm using, I'll just show you. I got these from the girls down at Stampin' Up. SAI, Japanese Traditional Colours. So they're quite a good brand of brush pen. I actually got them to do some calligraphy, so I'm going to show you that in a few weeks' time. What you can do with a brush pen and calligraphy, which is a quick, easy, let's say non-professional way to do it. Okay, the real good calligraphers use pen and ink. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Just to give you the idea that what is on top is lighter, what is on the bottom will be darker. So when it comes to shading a flower or leaves, work out which has got something over the top of it. So if you had a petal and another petal under the top, under the bottom, underneath, then the shadow, you can see the shadow. See the shadow casting? The top petal is lighter, or the top hand is lighter, the bottom hand is darker. I take that away, it becomes lighter because it's got no shadow falling on it. Okay, if something is flat, see how light my hand is? But if I close it so that it's higher, see the shadow falls in the deep section. And the wrinkles in my hand are really dark. So just by looking at that, gives you an idea of where shadows need to be and where light sections need to be. If I was painting this and it was much larger, I might even come and do some really lighter sections here where it bows over. So if you've got a petal that goes over like that, that bit would be way lighter than these bits here. And the further away it gets from here, the darker it would get if the light was up here. If the light was over there, if the light was, say, this here, over here, then this would be in shadow because the light wouldn't be hitting it. But we're getting really technical now. So I'll just leave it at what I've shown you for today, but over the weeks I'd like to show you a few more things that might be helpful. I hope that was helpful. See you later. Bye.